Well, the Blue Jays lose a tough one, 6-3 to the Minnesota Twins. Is anyone really surprised, though? It was Bowden Francis's start day, and he has not been good lately, not been good at all. It's time to shift things around there. I threw it around on Twitter earlier. If you're not going to send him down to the minor leagues, at least move him to the bullpen, bring him in, a few innings in, how we're doing with Eric Lauer right now, where the other team isn't necessarily scouting him for that day. It's not a penciled in start day where he's the main priority for the opposition's offense. Sneak him in there against the bottom of the order in the middle of the game. Let him attack some guys. Let him ramp up the velocity a little bit. Let him build some confidence just doing something different, because right now it's ugly. He still shows flashes in certain batters. I can't picture who it was at the plate, but I know there was a lefty there where he painted high with a fastball. Then he threw him a curveball down and in that he swung at. I think it was Wallner's at bat. And then he threw him a splitter low and away, and it was a really good sequence. And you could see how his pitches all played off of each other. And you can see why he's been good in the past at certain stretches. But he's just in his own head right now. He's throwing way too many over the middle of the plate. He's too predictable, and for a team like the Twins that are able to lay off of Kevin Gausman's splitter, you throw out basically a watered-down version. I don't mean any offense to Bowden Francis by that, but the fastball splitter is not as good on Francis, so if they're able to lay off that pitch so effectively on Gausman, of course they're going to be able to do it, seeing Francis right after him. Just a tough all-around situation there. He's not sharp right now. His stuff isn't as good as the other pitchers that they've faced. A lot of things working against the Blue Jays in this one today. So yeah, really not surprised that they lose the game. They fall to 35-30 on the year. Still 5 games above 500. They were bound to lose. They've been on quite the hot streak right now. So you hope to just kind of wash your hands of this series, take the series win over a really tough Minnesota team that you're in competition with, and get after it the next one. We'll get into the recap now. Ryan was on the mound for the Twins. So again, this pitching matchup right from the get-go, we just knew it was not likely to be our day. And with the Twins bullpen, you fall behind. It's a tough formula there to win a game when you fall behind and they have their best starter going on the mound and their bullpen being as locked down as it is. Ryan shuts us down through the first. Guerrero Jr. did earn a walk, but Barger, Kirky strike out after him. Bichette struck out, so 3 strikeouts in the first there. He's a very good pitcher. Bowden Francis gets into some trouble right away in the first inning, but he does get out of it. He walks Buxton, then Larnach strikes out, Wallner walks, Correa strikes out, Clemens flies out, so he gets out of it with the 2 walks. He's lucky the leadoff walk didn't score. We know how often they do score, especially with speed like Buxton, but anyways, he's able to persevere and get out of it. Ryan comes out and gives up a run in the second, though. Springer strikes out to lead off the inning. Lucas flies out. Clement singles. And then Alan Roden doubles to center field, scoring Clement. Nice to see the kid, Alan Roden, come through and, do something positive, get some momentum going for him. Makes it 1-0 Blue Jays in the top of the second. But bottom of second, they answer right back. Castro walks, again leading off the inning with a walk from Bowden Francis. France sends singles to center, moving Castro up to second. Lee singles, loading the bases, but it's still 1-0 Blue Jays at this point, so you're hoping, hey, maybe we can get out of this somehow, some way. Vasquez grounds up to second base. Castro scores. Lee moves up to second. France moves up to third. He walks Byron Buxton, loading the bases again. Larnach hits a sac fly, making it 2-1 Twins, and luckily Wallner lines out to the first baseman. Vladdy makes a nice grab there. So, keeps it 2-1. Could have been a lot worse there for sure. Keeps it, we're in the game. And sure enough, top of third, we get through on Ryan. Bichette works a walk. Guerrero Jr. grounds into a fielder's choice, but Bichette is safe on a throwing error by the shortstop. Barger lines out. Then Kirky singles, Springer doubles, so now we're up 3-2. Kirky singles in Bichette, and then Springer doubles, making Guerrero Jr. score and Kirky move up to third base. Lucas then strikes out and Clement flies out, so we're unable to do any more damage, but it is now 3-2 Blue Jays. And in the bottom of the third, Francis again was getting into some trouble. He never gave up any runs in this inning, but Correa flies out, Clemens flies out. So you're thinking, hey, he's rebounded. He had a tough second inning. He's going to make quick work of this one. Not so fast. Gives up a single to Castro after 6 pitches, and then he walks France on 4 straight balls. And then he pitches to Brooks Lee, but they get France picked off first base. Kirky with the throwdown and Vladdy with a nice tag. Really good, planned play there, and it worked to perfection. Gets him out of a big jam there. Saves some pitches. Just fantastic stuff by the defense as usual. Top of 4, Ryan just gets us, mows through us. Roden strikes out, Straw grounds out, Bichette flies out. And Bowden Francis in the 4th runs into more issues. Lee homers, Vasquez homers. So again, the home run ball comes back to bite him, as it has so much this year. So that tied the game and then made it 4-3 Minnesota. He gets Buxton ground out, but that's the end of it as they go to Mason Fluharty out of the bullpen, and it's now the bottom of the 4th inning. So not what you want to see out of Bowden Francis at all. 3 1/3, just not good enough out of a starting pitcher to be this. If it happens once, it's whatever. Everybody falls apart from time to time. But he's just not competitive in his starts right now, and it puts the bullpen in a real tricky spot, having to go to them that early and eat that many innings. Especially when they've been worked, fairly regularly recently. It's not like we're pitching any complete games or anything like that. Not like anybody can pitch a complete game anymore. So Fluharty comes in, gets Larnach to pop out, Warner to ground out. Great work by him. Ryan comes out. He's holding the lead down 4-3. He gets Guerrero Jr. to ground out. Barger walks, but then Kirky grounds into a double play. Fluharty gets touched up a little bit. He gets Correa to fly out. Then he walks Lewis. And then Castro singles off of him, making it 1st and 2nd with 1 out. So we go to Eric Swanson. Swanson gives up a double to right field from France, scoring Lewis. Castro moves up to 3rd, so it's now 5-3 Twins. And this is the point where we're already in our bullpen. Our offense hasn't looked, fantastic. You're still hopeful that they can fight back the way that they have been. But this is where the game started to feel like it was sliding from us. Lee then walks, Vasquez strikes out, Buxton walks, scoring a run, making it 6-3, and then Larnach flies out. So 6-3 heading to the 6th inning. Again, we're deep into our bullpen at this point, and you're just not loving your odds. Springer strikes out as Brock Stewart comes in to pitch for the Twins. Springer strikes out, Lucas grounds out, Clement lines out. Quick inning there. And Fisher comes in to pitch for the Blue Jays. He has a clean inning. He gets Wallner to line out, Correa singles, Lewis singles, Castro singles, but then he gets France to fly out, and Correa is thrown out at home from Miles Straw. We don't see Miles Straw arm get tested all that often, and this was a really nice play by him. He did a little stutter step, getting behind it, get his body momentum into it, makes a strong throw home, pretty much on the money, a good tag out at the plate. Correa was out by a good 5+ feet, keeps the game 6-3, keeps you in it. Sands comes in to pitch for Minnesota. He gets Roden, Straw, Bichette in order. Fisher still going for the Blue Jays, eating some important innings, win or lose. We needed some innings to be eaten here, so we didn't have to burn through everyone again. He strikes out Lee, gets Vasquez to ground out. Buxton's safe on a throwing error by Barger. And Barger did that thing again where he drops down to a low arm angle. And if you've ever played infield or played first base, you know when your infielder drops down to a low arm slot like that, it tails and sinks a lot. And I don't know why Barger does this. He either does a crow hop, throws it over the top, throws it 100 miles an hour straight, or he drops it down to like a complete sidearm, like almost like an Adam Simber throw, and he throws it about 60 miles an hour with tremendous break on it. Like you can see the thing sinking. And I don't know why he can't find the happy medium there of throwing over the top and just, a nice and easy 80 miles an hour throw or whatever would be, nice and easy effort for him. He has a strong arm, so it would still be hard. But yeah, he seems to go one of two. He either ramps up and just throws the ever-loving, piss out of the ball, or he flips it over lazily. And he can't seem to find any middle ground there, which is kind of confusing to me. Larnach then flies out, ending the inning, so it's 6-3 Twins through 7. Going to the 8th. And again, this Twins bullpen is good, man. Griffin Jacks comes in. He gets Guerrero, Barger, Kirky to line out, fly out. Pretty easy work there, all things considered, who you were going through in the order. Paxton Schultz comes in to pitch for us. He gets Wallner out, Correa singles, Lewis singles, Castro and France both strike out, ending the inning. So we're 6-3 heading to the 9th. We know we're going to have to face Yohan Duran, and he's not a guy you want to face, especially down 3. If you're down 1, you might run into something on him, but down 3, you pretty well could turn off the game at this point. Springer strikes out, Lucas singles, a little flare up the middle, Clement fouls out, and then Alan Roden rolls over one and grounds it out to first base like we've seen him do so many times this year. So not the greatest of games. You kind of had a feeling it was slipping away from us early on just by how Bowden Francis looked. I really hope they address this soon because you can't be throwing away every 5th game, especially when you also have a bullpen game mixed in there too. So I'd really like to see Eric Lauer take a starting spot and then them figure out maybe piggyback Bowden Francis off of somebody else, have somebody else be an opener for a couple of innings, and then let Bowden Francis just focus on, say, a 2 or a 3 inning appearance. And like I say, just ramp up his stuff a little bit more and maybe come in against the bottom of an order, something like that. Something has to change. I won't speculate too much on what it is. The box score of things. We only got 5 hits today. Bichette and Guerrero were kept off the board. Barger was kept off the board. We did get some hits through Kirky, Springer, Lucas, Clement, and Roden. But overall, just not enough. 3 runs, you don't expect to win too many with that. Bowden Francis, again, only going 3 1/3, 89 pitches. His ERA is now up to over 6. Not good enough, not competitive. Fluharty got touched up a bit for 2 runs. His ERA is now up to 3.58. Swanson comes in and walks 2 and lets up a hit. Again, it's good to see him get into these games where he's not necessarily blowing the game, because we need to give him probably, a month or 2 to really start ramping up. His velocity's sitting around 91, 92 right now. His splitter looks all right, but he's going to need some game reps to get up to speed, and this is the only way to do it, really, is actually to throw him out there and put him into it. Braden Fisher got a couple good clean innings for us, greatly needed to keep us competitive and not have to burn through everybody, like I say. And then Paxton Schultz came in and did his job. He struck out 3 in 1 inning of work. So that's where I'll leave off for today. A bit of an ugly game, a bit of a letdown. Not what you want to see, but to go into Minnesota and win a series, that's no small feat. And based off of the Philadelphia series and Minnesota series, these are some real legit teams that we are doing well against. So that is a promising sign. Let me know what you think in the comments below, all right? Did you watch the game? What did you observe? What do you think needs to change? Let me know, all right? We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.